Hey guys, what is going on? So I just wanted to give an update on my bulk so far, the progress that I've made in terms of weight gain, potentially muscle increase, strength increase, stuff like that. So I will talk about that. I'll talk about the supplements that I'm taking. I've obviously added some new supplements as far as like Gorilla Mind and stuff like that. And I also just kind of want to recap where I was at towards the end of my cut, because I think that's important to kind of determine where I could potentially go, right? So for those who have not been watching, just a quick recap, like I said, ended the cut at 209 pounds, which is pretty much the lightest I was willing to get. Towards the end of my cut, the last couple weeks, I really started to drop weight a lot more quickly than I was used to, probably, more quickly than I should have. And I think I started to see some strength regression as well. I was also kind of dealing with a little bit of a shoulder injury towards the end of that time period because I had been benching so much. And if you recall, I was able to hit a 20-pound bench PR at the leanest that I'd ever been in around mid to late June. As I continued to cut, I think I finally started to see some strength regression, which was not something that I liked. I was potentially losing muscle at that point because I was just eating at such a deficit, and the rate that I was losing weight, whether that was fat, muscle, whatever, was just too fast. And I just knew that I couldn't keep that up. I was kind of miserable, and so I decided to bulk. So probably had to spend a little bit of time on the bulk, kind of regaining some of that, size and strength back, especially considering, I couldn't really work my shoulders to the degree that I wanted to because my shoulder was feeling a little bit iffy. So I ended up using some BPC. If you're not familiar with what that is, it's basically just a peptide that helps, heal injuries. I've used in the past. I talked about it with my back injury before. I think it's phenomenal. Use BPC. Shoulder has been 100% for a while, and I've, been training shoulders and stuff like that. But in terms of, where I have gotten up to this point in the bulk, just kind of recovering a little bit from that, adding, calories in, just kind of getting back to the groove of things, doing full body workouts again, as opposed to just doing, more benching than I probably should have been. And I actually have not even been benching over the course of this bulk. I'll bench like a little bit per week, maybe. Like I don't nearly go as hard in terms of like push workouts or bench. I don't really try and push my limits very much at all. And I'm not going for strength currently because I'm just trying to transition into a period of building muscle again. So haven't been benching, have been doing compound movements, but I've been doing them a lot more in the high rep range, like 10 to 15 reps, kind of in that range. Really just trying to build my base back up in terms of, getting everything going. I'm working on lifts that I previously wasn't. I'm actually deadlifting again. So I'm just doing a little bit of everything, but I'm working in a much higher rep range. And then when I move over to accessories, I go really high reps, just kind of really trying to blast the muscle and just get really good pumps and everything like that. So that's what my training has been like. So as far as strength progression, I have not been maxing out or doing heavy loads or anything like that, so I can't speak on that. But in terms of like my back workouts, doing just different back exercise, I definitely noticed that my back strength has gone up over the course of this bulk so far. So that's good to see. I think that I'm actually gaining muscle in my back as well, and just overall kind of being in a surplus, having more water, more carbs, everything like that. It seems like I've probably put on maybe a little bit of size. It's hard to say. It's only been a few weeks. In terms of my actual weight, I am currently at 219 pounds. So I've added back 10 pounds in the last 3 weeks. Now, obviously, a lot of that is going to be water, glycogen, stuff like that. I was pretty severely depleted towards the end of my cut. So, that's to be expected. So where I'm currently at in around the 220 pound range is where I started my bulk when I was on Ecdysterone last time. So I think it's a really good comparison in terms of, apples to apples. Now, obviously, I'm a leaner 220 now, considering I've put on some muscle, size overall from the 220 that I was at when I started my Ecdysterone. So what am I currently running? Just taking huge Ecdysterone. A lot of you guys have been asking, what I am taking as far as like my stack. I've been taking epicatechin this whole time. Now I did transition into the HR supplements version of epicatechin because I ran out of my huge supplements version. So we'll see how that goes. I had a lot of people ask me about that. It's really hard to pinpoint if that is going to be beneficial, but I've been running the epicatechin. Obviously the huge Ecdysterone, I bumped that up when I got my next shipment of it. So when it restocked, I got, a few more bottles. Now that I have those, I've upped my dosage to 3 a day. So I was doing 2 a day the whole time. And then I'm just running the recommended dose of the sapogenics, or however you say that. And, I've said this before, I'm not recommending this supplement. I know some people have gotten good results on it. I know a lot of you guys have tried to buy this stack as well. So I know that a lot of you guys are getting good results running both. I personally think ecdysterone or turkesterone is like the most powerful natural thing that you can take, to my knowledge. And so I recommend that over anything else, based on my experience and what I've heard from other people. So if you're going to go for like one or the other, I definitely think ecdysterone or turkesterone is the better option. But if you're going to stack things, maybe it's something that you might want to consider. Now, it is expensive, and like I've said before, the only reason I ever tried huge ecdysterone in the first place was because it was sent to me for free. Try to be transparent about that. I ended up really liking it. I actually prefer it to Muscle Empire. It actually seems like a more cost-effective option when you do all the math. At the time, I didn't know this though, and I just kind of took it because it was free. Same thing is happening with the sapogenics, or however you pronounce it. If you guys know how to actually say it, please let me know if I'm saying it wrong. But I'm taking that because it was free. So am I recommending this product? No. Could I recommend their ecdysterone? Well, now that I've tried it, now that a bunch of you have tried it, I would say I could recommend that. The sapogenics, I don't know yet. I'm still just kind of learning. Been taking that on the bulk. So far, the bulk is going well, but that is currently what I'm taking. So those two, and then the epicatechin. And like I said, I transitioned into the HR supplements, or I guess it's Muscle Empire technically, but I bought it from HR supplements, and I finally was able to kind of crack into that. So obviously I have links, codes for all that stuff down in the description if you want to try any of those out. But I would say primarily I'm just running the huge ecdysterone is kind of the main X factor in my opinion. So things are going well with that. Obviously I'm only like 3 weeks in or whatever to my bulk, so nothing crazy. And then a couple things that I've added. Obviously you guys know that I got my my shipment from Gorilla Minds, which was basically like every product that they offer. Now I've taken probably the majority of their products already before I got the shipment, but there are a couple things like the Gorilla Mode AR. So I recently started the Gorilla Mode AR. So that's something that, I added to the stack. A lot of people just say that it helps them stay lean in their bulk. Since I've started taking that, so I basically went back up to 220 like right away. And I've basically been staying at 220 since I've been taking it. So I think it's a way to make lean gains and to do it over time. Obviously, I'm not trying to like bulk and get up to like 250 or anything like that. I want it to be a nice slow bulk. I'm hoping that I bulk for around 6 months. So I really don't want to gain a lot of fat. If I were to gain like a pound a week, I would add 26 pounds. Not really looking to add that much. So obviously I gained some water back in the first few weeks, stuff like that. But I don't want to add and get all the way up to like 245 or something like that. Like that would be me adding a pound a week. So I'm not looking to do that. Looking towards, maybe half a pound is where I'm kind of going, but I'm not counting calories. I'm just kind of adjusting as I go. But things are going well. So, taking the Gorilla Mode AR, obviously I've tried a lot of their other supplements. I've been kind of sampling them. I've been taking, a lot of their other products this whole time. Like for example, their post-workouts I've been taking since 2020. So, there's just a lot of their products that I use, obviously, but in terms of the main kind of X factors, I know a lot of you guys say that you love Gorilla Mode AR. I'll talk about that probably in a full review in the future. But so far, the huge ecdysterone seems to be giving me pretty similar results to turkesterone. We'll see. Obviously, I gave turkesterone a much longer trial run, and I'm expecting to give huge ecdysterone, months to see what it can do. And then maybe further down the line, if I like run out of, my other stuff like sapogenics or however you say that, like I keep saying, I might transition into like stacking huge with Turk on a bulk, and that might be absolutely nuts, but we'll see what happens there. Otherwise, I just plan to give it a few months. In terms of the restocks of all of these, I know HR just had a quick restock. Saw a couple people were able to get their hands on that. They currently only have the 60 capsule version, which, as I keep saying, I am talking specifically about the 180 cap. That is like the best bang for your buck. That's the one that I keep recommending on HR supplements. I just checked on Amazon. $80 is what they're going for. So you can literally, with like bulk discounts and using my code, if the 180 count gets back in stock on HR supplements, it's like 40 bucks a pop versus buying it on Amazon is like 80 bucks. So absolutely would not recommend getting it from Amazon under those circumstances. I would say just wait. Huge Supplements should be restocking quite soon. I haven't, talked to them specifically about like a date, but it should be coming obviously this month, but I'd be guessing in the first half of this month. Ecdysterone should be very, very soon. I do not have a specific date on that, but it should be very soon. So keep your eyes peeled on that if you're interested. Obviously, like I said, I have codes for all these things. Just go in the description and you'll find what you need. But all these things are like in and out of stock all the time. So keep that in mind. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. I'll keep you updated and I'll talk to you soon.